Hello, welcome. So I just had this meditation experience of or the meditation teacher experience of. So for those, okay, so I'll pause for a moment. If you don't know who I am, my name is Andrew. I'm a certified mindfulness meditation coach. Some of you might know me as the guy in the blue font chat for the Do Nothing project. I'm also a software engineer, and part of the reason bonjour, Paul. Part of the reason this is 15 minutes past the hour is because I know that it takes me a little bit of time to transition from my day job over into this. And yes, in the in the bouffant. And today I bumped up against it like exactly where I was on a call with a coworker, and I said, well, I got to get off like in 5 minutes because I got to go guide this meditation. And then I got to switch computers and I got to do all this stuff. And I had this moment of I just wanted to yell at the computer and be like, hurry up. Don't you know I have to go lead a meditation? So, so one, I need to be better about hard stops and boundaries and things like that. So I appreciate everyone's patience and sticking around, the 10 or so people that stuck around an extra 4 or 5 minutes. Hello to Mike G and Susan Greger, Deb, to Lynn. Hopefully the future is treating you well, Lynn. And anyone else that I might not be seeing. It was nice. Noticed that I think 3 or 4, maybe 5 people subscribed right after Jeff had mentioned the sit on Sunday. And then I know that Ruth, our Ruthless Crab, as you will know, Ruth from Ruth's Handle, can't make it. And I know there's a few other people that can't make it. And hello to everyone watching the recordings. Yes, I do know you do watch the recordings. And a few people recently were like, thanks for the hello. So you are very, very welcome. And so as Ruth would say, don't forget to like if you haven't. And if you haven't already subscribed, that's totally fine that you haven't. But if you want to, that's one way. And then, oh, hello, Sheila. Welcome. And then I do, last week I forgot, but I do send out a email reminder beforehand, and it has the link, and that's one way to be reminded if you don't want to use if all of your YouTube updates and reminders go into like a giant black hole. That's one way to find out. You can send an email to that email address that's in chat, and that's and I'll put you on that list, and then you can always reply back to any of those messages and ask me to take you off the list. So I don't have a fancy newsletter or anything like that set up quite yet, but that is something I'm probably going to do here pretty soon. So, but yeah, the old hurry up to meditate is a funny thing. Oh, hello, we've got another Australian. That's excellent. Welcome, Malcolm. Yeah, and if you're familiar with Mark Coleman, who is a fantastic meditation teacher, I think I heard of Mark Coleman from Susan Greger, who's over here in chat. But Mark will actually say to himself, he'll chide himself as like, is like, oh, Mr. Meditation, like, you lose your cool too, or things like that. And he has a way of working with his own inner critic that is quite delightful. The other thing is I forgot because I was rushing. So hopefully, there we go. Hopefully there wasn't too much of the clicking noise. My phone, I think, will interfere with the microphone and the streaming. So Jeff Groves always points that out. So, all right. So what are we here to do? We're here to do 25 minutes of meditation. We'll have light guidance, and it's going to be 20 minutes of guidance, and then the last 5 minutes or so will be do nothing practice. So most of you will know me from the Do Nothing Project, so you'll be familiar a bit with that. I think last week I mentioned that I've been playing around with this idea of like, imagine wanting this. But I think what we'll do is we'll steal from Jeff a little bit, and the 20-minute meditation will be. Oh, that's good to know. Thank you, Paul. The 20-minute meditation, or the guidance around that, will be what's here, or looking at what's already here. And so mainly, I think that's an opportune thing to work with today as I'm sort of hustling from the doing of my normal day job to the sort of being in general. So so I haven't taken off my cardigan or taken off my jacket and put on my cardigan like Mr. Rogers yet, but that, like movement from being or a doing mode into the being mode, or the just being, or being able to sit and know that you're sitting, that kind of presence aspect. So that's what I'm thinking. And you're always welcome to allow the guidance to be in the background to do your own practice. So that's totally fine. Again, appreciate some of the new faces, Mike G and Malcolm and Sheila. So that's really cool. Appreciate that. Okay. I don't think there's anything else. I think I'll ring the bell. Oh, I need a timer. If you do have any questions or reports, you can put those in the chat after we're done. All right, 25 minutes on the clock. Here we go. All right, so as we shift over and kind of change modes, just really start out simple. Establish a posture that'll help you to be really relaxed and alert. And if you can, a posture that supports you being still. You'll notice that I kind of fidget and move around a little bit, so you can kind of move and then return to the stillness. And in doing that, maybe it's a matter of finding a way to feel really rooted and supported, whether you're sitting on a cushion or sitting in a chair or lying down, standing, sort of all of the four dignities. And then just sort of checking in to see what the body is like at this moment. And noticing if there's any kind of holding or tension in the body. And we notice that in a welcoming way. We're not to chase away any of the tension. Just saying hello. And in the noticing, sometimes it will release, and if it doesn't, it's our first opportunity to bring a no big deal attitude to the tension being there. And then a few deliberate breaths, slow and low, as the Beastie Boys would say, is our tempo. Breathing in slow through the nose allows us to breathe low into the belly. And then as we extend and accentuate the exhale, that's a physiological cue for the body to shift into a more rest and relaxation mode. So move over from that doing to the being side of things. And so this simple point that we're at, you can mark as a waypoint if you want. This sitting and knowing that you're sitting. You can come back to this at any point. It's sort of the mindfulness meditation version of child's pose. So it's always available. You can always come back to this, just the sitting and knowing that you're sitting. And then you may have distractions like your mom calling you, or dog, cat coming in and nestling up to you. So it's okay for those distractions to shift us away from our current focus. And then if we can, just allowing the distractions to be in the background and coming back. And then, as I mentioned at the top, just starting out with a little bit of seeing what's already here. So we've kind of meddled with what's already here a little bit. Breaths and sort of setting up our home base at the beginning. So what's still here after all that? And we might find kind of an upwelling of emotion, or we might find kind of nothing at all. In either case, we can sort of choose to use a home base, or we can choose to sort of focus away, focus out. So we would choose the anchor if we feel really sort of resourced and stable. And we can focus out if we don't feel as resourced right now. And so what might that look like? For focusing out, maybe opening the eyes, allowing them to be downcast but open. Focusing on the sounds around you, or focusing on physical body sensation. So, can you feel the hands? Can you feel the feet? So, with each of those ways, so either in the home base or the focusing out, or a third option that you have decided on, I'll let you explore on your own for a little bit, and then I'll check in. So each sit will be a little different. And so if today or tonight's sit is feeling like you're able to kind of focus your attention where you want it, concentrate, that's great. And if you're struggling to keep your attention where you want it, and just noticing if there's any frustration that wells up. And if you notice that frustration, was that frustration here when the sit started? And the spoiler probably is that we may not know. So just seeing if we can allow that to be here. And as our attention is drawn away, seeing if just before we bring our attention back, if we can do that in a way that is calm and accepting. And so if our attention is drawn away by an itch or a loud sound around us or those darn kids on their ATVs, noticing, so that waking up, as we say, my attention's been pulled away. Or I've been making a list for the last 25 seconds. So that's the real magic, noticing, and then bringing the attention back. And one last little check-in here to see what still remains, what's still here now. And so if you've returned to list making, it's okay. Noticing that, coming back to whatever your focus you chose was. Or maybe you can't let go of whether or not you put a stamp on that letter. So maybe noticing a little bit of the concern and then coming back. So allowing whatever is here now to be here. So as we sit, we're kind of putting in this effort. We're kind of sort of pedaling our meditation bike. And with the last bit we have remaining, just coasting. So we're going to drop whatever we were doing, and then we're just sort of going to glide to the end. So, and what is that gliding? Well, that's really the technique of no technique, or do nothing. So we put down any intentions to control our attention, and we let the mind kind of romp. And if we notice that we suddenly are catching our breaths, let's try to let that go. If you've done that a couple times, then the mind just wants to count breaths or whatever that might be. the fruits of our practice benefit all things. Thank you for your time and attention and come sit, and thank you for waiting around the extra 4 or 5 whatever minutes it was I was late. Everything I think is on schedule for the weekend, although I know Jeff will be headed up north in Ontario, so there's a possibility of a guest host. I don't think it's me, but there is the potential of that. So little inside info maybe, but I think Jeff's got a reasonable connection now after the duck dive that was at the cabin last time. You're very welcome, Paul. You're very welcome, Gabrielle. A big thank you to Ruth, because I think Ruth will be watching this on the recording. You're very welcome, Mike G. And then I think I mentioned it or I linked to it in the broadcast on Sunday, but the Consciousness Explorers podcast season 2, there was an announcement for that will start in January. And then you can always go to jeffwarren.org, the events page, to find out more about the upcoming in-person meditation retreats with Jeff. So yeah, thank you, Malcolm. I appreciate you coming. I'm really happy to have a small contingent of Aussies. Like I know Lynn is here, and we have a few, so that's always cool. I've been twice. So last time we were there was in 2019, and I absolutely love Australia. So yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you got in the end there, Lynn. So. And then I'll be back on Wednesday. Everything should be normal, and you'll get a reminder. And if you aren't on the list, you can always email me at the email in the chat, and I'll add you up. So, oh, you had to refresh once too? Okay. And my mom really did call in the middle of the sit, by the way. So I got to check in and figure out what's going on. But I dropped that in as a thing that might happen and distract you. And that was a thing that happened for me. So, oh, okay. Well, sorry. Future looks bright. I am really excited to hear that, Lynn, because I need a bright tomorrow. So when it arrives, I'm gonna think of you. So I'm excited about Thursday. All right. I will see you in chat on Sunday, and I'll see you back here in a week. Bye now.